Welcome to this hands-on demo of using BrainSearch HTML5 Virtual Classroom. This is a great collaboration tool to deliver your live classes, meetings, or webinars to audience anywhere. HTML5 is an open source markup language that does not require browser plugins like Adobe Flash or Java. So removing the need for proprietary plugins certainly improves your browser's security. BrainSearch HTML5 Virtual Classroom is powered by WebRTC, which stands for Web Real-Time Communications. It is a credible standard for transmitting audio and video in real time without having to install browser-based plugins or any software downloads or installations to run this application. BrainSearch HTML5 Virtual Classroom comes packed with so many features such as multiple interactive whiteboards, session recording and playback, screen sharing, document viewer, where you can upload your PowerPoint, PDF, Word documents, annotate on top of the documents, group chat, poll, break room, and so many features. So in this demo, we're going to cover one by one, and I'm going to show you how effectively you can use this collaboration tool to maximize the benefits. Let's quickly look at the layout of the HTML5 Virtual Classroom. On the left side, you have all whiteboard specific tools. On the top, you have the color tool, undo and redo buttons. You can also maximize your virtual classroom into full screen. These are all teacher specific tools, which is available only to the instructor. And the instructor can also pass some of these controls to students. So you have session recording, screen sharing, break room, poll, image tool, media player, document viewer, and so on. On the right side, you have all the videos stacked here. If you have multiple people in the classroom, you will see 4 streams appear at one time here. If you want to view more streams, you can click on the enlarge icon, and you will be able to see multiple streams on this enlarged mode. And also you have the latency tool to check your network speed, which will open up a pop-up and shows you your download speed, upload speed, and latency, which is a good tool to see if you have a good connection. So if you have 1 Mbps or more, which is ideal for any type of audio video conference, anything lower than that, it's obviously going to deteriorate your performance. And you have the settings tool here. That's a good place to start with. If you complain that your microphone is not working and the other person is not able to hear you, they're not able to see you, this is the first place you should start with. This is the video settings icon. When you click on that, it's going to show you your video settings, such as what type of camera you're using, what is the audio you're using. You click on the select tools, it shows you that device that you are using, your webcam. You can pick and choose a different device if you use multiple webcams. And you can click on this tool to select an audio tool. If you have like multiple microphones, like an external USB or internal microphone, you can choose which one to use here. And you have the attendees list here. If you have all the students present, you will see all their names appear here. In the later session, I'm going to show you how to pass some of the moderator controls to students, such as giving them screen share access, giving them whiteboard access, giving them audio video controls, and so on. The HTML5 Virtual Classroom is a whiteboard-based tools. When I say it's a whiteboard-based tools, you do everything on the whiteboard basically. So you draw on the whiteboard. You can draw shapes on the whiteboard. Everything is synchronous. Whatever you do, it will be seen by all the attendees in real time. This is a tool place where you also show your screens. When you share your screen, it appears as whiteboard tabs. When you upload your document, it appears on the whiteboard, and you can also annotate on top of the documents. So everything is done on the whiteboard. So this is provides a very seamless user experience to students, because when you do screen sharing, they're not leaving the application and coming back. Pretty much they do everything within the application. So you have better control over the type of actions you're doing, better control over the type of the collaboration that you're doing, such as teaching live classes, or it could be a creative session where you're showing a product demo to your customer. They're going to love it. They're going to have a seamless user experience because you're doing everything in one place. And this is a chat, group chat basically, so you can chat with your attendees. One of the cool features is you can also share files. You can upload your file, add file from your content library, and also it supports emojis, so you can pick and choose one of these, and then send it to the students. And the cool thing is, if you have multiple attendees on the virtual classroom, you can also call out when you type @ it's going to list all the attendee names. You can choose one of the name, and then you can send them a message. You know. So this is basically you're calling out a specific attendee to convey a message. And other things include, there is eye icon here. This is basically used to hide and show this specific area to the students. For example, you want to hide video to the students, so you click on this. It turns there's a cross mark on top of the eye icon, which means right now videos are not available to students. And similarly, if you don't want to show the attendee list to the students, you click on this icon. Similarly, you want to temporarily turn off chat because a lot of people are keep talking and distraction, and you want to get everybody's attention, and you temporarily disable the chat if you want to. And there is also collapse icons here. So when you click on it, it collapses the chat, so it maximizes the attendee area place. Furthermore, if you want to collapse the attendee list, it increases the space for chat. Similarly, you can also collapse the video chat, so you have more space for chat. So that's a very simple tool which you can use. And you also have the attach and detach tool. For example, you want to detach this video of the fixed layout, you simply click on this one. So this is basically detaching that specific area, so you can move around anywhere on the screen. There is a, if you look closely, there is an, like on the edge, there is a black color highlight here, which means that you can click on that to enlarge it. So you can enlarge or minimize any of these windows. If you want to send the window back to the original place, you simply click on the attach icon, it goes back. Similarly, for attendee list, you can also detach and also click on this edge to maximize and minimize that specific area. And you can do the same thing for chat also. This is very useful if you have a very large screen when you want to move the window to a specific area, so where you can focus on the other part of the screen. You can do that. I'm going to show you some of the whiteboard basics. When you enter virtual classroom, you will see that the pencil tool is the default whiteboard tool that's enabled. So you can use that to draw lines, writings, or anything on the whiteboard. Okay, and this is the select tool. So every time you want to move an object or you want to select an object, you should use the select tool. So click on the tool and click on this, move that anywhere on the screen. And there is also a multi-point selection here. So I can click any of these selected points and then move that specific area to stretch out that line or an object. And you have pointer tool. This is a great tool if you have a presentation on the whiteboard and you are teaching something. This is more like a laser where you pinpoint a specific text or line on the whiteboard. So you also see that there is a right arrow button, which means that there is also additional tools available on that menu item. So you click on this area and then choose, and then you can see the other tools that are available. So here in this example, next to the pencil tool, you have the highlighter tool available. So you click on that, and the highlighter tool is the active tool because you can see that is the one that's highlighted now. So I can use that to, highlight specific, area of the screen. If you want to change the color, you can also choose a different color, choose, and then you can use that to highlight. Let me clear this area. There is a delete icon here. When you click on that and click OK, it basically erases everything on the whiteboard. There is also line tool. So you use this to draw straight lines, and also you can see there is an arrow tool where I can use that to draw arrows. And there is a line, like a connector tool. I can use that to connect multiple objects. For example, there is a shape. There is a box here. There is a box here. So I can use the connector tool to connect these two boxes as an example. And anytime you want to change, you can click on that object. You can see that there are the selections available. So you can click on the edge to maximize and minimize, and also you can also rotate an object. So let's keep it that way. And I can also change the color. I can choose a different color and choose fill. Now you can see that the color is changed now. Similarly, you can also change, select a border color, and then you can change the border if you'd like. And here you see that there is a grid tool available. You can use that tool to draw grid like that. This is great if you're drawing x-axis or y-axis. You want to plot something on the screen. The grid tool is a very useful tool for that. And you also have an eraser tool. You can click on that to erase specific objects and part of the screen. You also have the text tool available here. You can click on that to write something on the screen. And then I can use the select tool to increase the size. It is as easy as it is. So I can use it to rotate, use this to maximize, minimize that size. I can move that to a specific area of the screen using the select tool. So all these are possible on the whiteboard. So let me clear this area. And you have the LaTeX equation editor. This is a really great tool if you're teaching mathematics, where you don't have to type your equation or insert an image as an equation. We have the tool built in, so you can use the tool to pick and choose an equation that you're trying to generate. So for example, I just click something here, and then maybe type a text like 22, and then convert. It converts into a LaTeX equation editor, and then I can add that to the whiteboard, or I can add and close this window. You also have specific features here where you can also change the color of the text, the size of the text. You can also have multiple themes available here. You can choose any one of the theme to change the equation style, and click add and close window. So it appears on the whiteboard. So I can use the select tool, move anywhere on the screen, and I can also minimize and maximize. Wolfram Alpha is a knowledge engine which comes integrated with the virtual classroom. You can click on that to query any specific topic inside the whiteboard. So there are some examples available here. You can see there are some default examples. So let me click on speed of light. So it basically shows you how it looks like when you click on the speed of light. You can see it here. Similarly, you can also ask any type of information here. For example, I'm asking 22 by 765, and then search. It's going to tell you the result in a visualized visualization. So you can see 22 by 765 is 16830. Similarly, you can ask anything that you like, and to know about a specific terminology, to learn about a specific country, what is the capital of Spain. You can ask any question. It's going to give you a visualization. And I showed you before, this is the delete tool. You can use that to clear this area anytime. And so let me show you another cool feature. Let me choose the pencil tool, draw something on the screen. I did here. And there is an undo and redo icon. I can also undo and I can also redo that specific action. So this is also available for students. When you give whiteboard access to students, they will also have access to all these whiteboard tools on the left, on the top here. This is all teacher tools. We will cover that later. So the students can individually undo and redo their own actions. So, and also the mouse pointer is color coded. So based on the color that is associated with for your name under the attendee list, you will see your mouse pointer appear in a specific color. So when I move the mouse pointer on the student screen, it will show that my name below the pointer. Similarly, when students move their mouse on the whiteboard, you can also see the student's name tied to the pointer. So everyone knows that who is doing that specific action on the whiteboard. There is a global settings icon here, the class settings. When you click on that, you have two options available, class settings and language settings. So as an instructor, you can click on this to increase the session duration. So in this example, I have used all the available minutes under my plan. So when you click on class settings, it will show you the maximum session limit reached. So if you, for example, if your plan allows like 90 minutes and you schedule the session for 60 minutes, then when you click on class settings, it will show you have 30 more minutes available. You can extend the session by 15 minutes or by 30 minutes. I will show you an example later. And also language settings. By default, when you schedule a session, you can force an interface language. For example, the default is English language. If I want, I can choose French as the language and then click OK. And then you can see the entire interface change into the French language. So this is very useful feature to allow every single attendee to customize the virtual classroom in their own mother tongue. If you do not want that, you can also force a specific language when you're scheduling the class. So when you do that, students won't see this option to change language. So whatever language is set will be the default language. They cannot change this. Otherwise, if you allow students to change their own interface language, they can see this language settings option enabled. Everyone can individually click on that and change their language. I'm going to show you how to rename the whiteboard and also some of the right-click operations that you can do on the whiteboard. To rename the whiteboard tab, simply double-click on the name and then change the text. Click anywhere on the whiteboard to make it active. Similarly, you can change the name for whiteboard 2 as lesson 2. I'm going to change whiteboard 3 as lesson 3. It is very easy to change the whiteboard text. Whenever you right click on the whiteboard, you see all these menu items available. By default, you can save screenshot. What that means is when you have content written on the whiteboard, your drawings, text, uploaded documents, whatever it is, you can simply right click and save those contents as a screenshot. It will basically export the particular whiteboard tab as an image. And also you select an object, and when you right click, you have all these additional options available. You can copy an object, you can right click anywhere, and then again you can paste it. Similarly, you can right click an object, you can send to back, right click an object, bring to front. You can also do something like flip vertical, flip horizontal, and also delete an object. On the left bottom of this page, you will see class settings gear icon. So when you click on the gear icon, it opens a pop-up. The pop-up has two options, class settings and language settings. Class settings is used to extend your session duration, which is maximum allowed under your subscription plan. For example, if you have purchased a subscription plan that allows 90 minutes session duration, but you have scheduled the class for only 60 minutes, now you decided that you want to extend the session, this is the right place you can do that. So you can come here and you can extend the session by 15 minutes or 20 or the full allowed timer under your account. So you can consume all the 30 minutes if you like. You can also set up alerts to warn you before the session expires. So I can set up something like, show me the alert 15 minutes before the session expires. So I know that, I need to notify the students that the class will be over in the next 15 minutes, something like that. Or you can also end the class. When you end the class, it closes the session completely and no one would be able to enter the classroom again. So you may need to schedule a new session if that's the case, or if it's a recurring session, it recurs again automatically in the next available date and time that you have selected. So for example, let's do this. Let me consume all the 30 minutes and then set it like 15 minutes and then click OK. Now when I click the class settings again, you will see this warning. The maximum session limit has reached. So what that means is, you consumed all the available session minutes under your subscription plan and you cannot add any more minutes to that. So if you think that you need more minutes, you have to reach out Brainset support, or you can upgrade to a new plan that's available there. So when you schedule a session, you will see this option, allow attendees to change interface language. If you set this to yes, then the language settings icon will be enabled for all the attendees. So what that means is every single attendee in the classroom can click on this link and then change any of the allowed languages here to customize their interface language. So we support like over 50 languages, so your attendees can pick and choose any of the languages that they think is suitable. So they can customize their own individual language, which is very useful if you have a multilingual audience. Or what you can do is, if you have a specific language, or if you think that they all speak Portuguese, maybe you can set up like no, and then choose for example Portuguese from this drop down menu when you schedule the live class. So forcing an interface language will remove this language settings button in the pop-up to all the attendees, so they won't be able to customize the language specific to their mother tongue. So basically you are forcing an interface language for all the audience as an instructor. So that's the concept. Another cool feature about the virtual classroom is the RTL support, right to left language support, such as the languages Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, and Urdu. These are all RTL languages. So any native speaker can simply go to the language settings and select one of the RTL language. In this example, let me select Arabic, click OK. You see that the entire screen shifts from right to left, including all the interface languages. It reads from right to left. So this is very beneficial for all the native speakers. So this looks and feels like how they read and write their native language. And the ability to customize the interface language that also supports RTL is a very powerful and intuitive feature in this virtual classroom. I'm going to go over some of the teacher tools available in the virtual classroom. On the right top, you see all these icons. These are all teacher specific tools. So you have the recording icon, screen sharing, break room, poll, image, insert image tool, media player, and document tool. So let's start with the recording options. So every time you see the red recording button, you can click on that icon to start the recording process. So your entire virtual classroom actions are now getting recorded, including all the whiteboard actions, like whatever you draw on the whiteboard, your screen sharing, whatever you type on chat, all the instructor and all the attendees video and audio streams, everything is getting recorded into a high definition MP4 file. It's a very processor intensive encoding process, but the system is very capable of putting everything into a high definition MP4 file. So every time you start and click on the stop button, it sends the specific processes to the media processing server where video is getting produced. So make sure you start and stop the recording process. Even if you forget to stop the button and close the browser by accident or end of the session, you simply close the browser. No worries. The system is intelligent enough to detect that you close the browser, and it still gathers all the information that it needs to process the video for you. If you don't want to start and stop the recording and automatically want the entire session to be recorded, you can do that when you schedule a session. So when you schedule a live class, you have an option called start recording automatically when class starts. Make sure you click yes to that so your virtual classroom will be automatically recorded and processed. And now you have a screen sharing option. We call this multi-screen sharing. What that means is, as an instructor, you can give screen sharing access to all the attendees or a group of attendees. It appears as whiteboard tabs, so you can easily navigate back and forth between multiple screens. So I'll show you an example of sharing my own screen. I click on the screen sharing icon. I chose a specific application. I chose my browser window, and then I click on share. Now we see that my browser is getting shared now. So few things to remember is every time you allow screen sharing access, this icon will be enabled for the students. They can also do the same thing and share this their screen on the whiteboard tabs. If you have multiple people have the screen shared on the whiteboard, when you mouse over the tab, it shows you the name of the person. So you know whose screen it is. That's a very neat feature to differentiate between multiple screens. You can go back and forth and navigate between multiple screens. One thing to remember is you cannot annotate on top of the shared screen because it's a stream that's coming from your shared application in your computer. It's not a document where you can annotate on top of that. And also you cannot like navigate within the whiteboard for the shared screen. You have to actually go to the screen which you shared in order to navigate that. So whatever you do on the specific screen, it will do the same synchronous on the whiteboard. So you can see that I'm scrolling my browser. So you can see it's like super fast and in real time. All the attendees can see the same thing. This is great to share like your browser window, documents, PowerPoint slide, or your specific application like a Microsoft SharePoint. So you are teaching someone Microsoft SharePoint, so you can share that application and show it to students. So the whiteboard is synchronous. So whatever you do on the whiteboard will be seen by all the students within the virtual classroom session. Screen sharing you will use when you want to share something such as your browser or any specific application. So it is not necessary that every time you want to use the whiteboard, you have to share the screen. It doesn't, the whiteboard works differently. It's synchronous. So whatever you do on the whiteboard, everyone can see the same. So it's quite different from screen sharing. And you also have this feature called break room. So if you have multiple attendees on the room, this is a very neat feature. You can select some of those attendees. You can move them to a different room. You can create a room, and then you can move those attendees to a different room. For example, if you have 20 attendees in a session, you want to move like 5 people to a sub room within a main room, so they can go discuss something private and come back to the main room. So you can do that using break room feature. And you also have the poll feature, so you can create like poll questions, like and then you can publish it. So this goes to all the attendees in the session, so they can click on the options that you selected. So you'll get instant feedback about what they think about the product or about your class, or any general feedback that you want to collect. And you also have this image tool. This is very useful if you want to insert an image. Um, so you see that I just inserted this image. I can also, maximize it, minimize it, annotate on top of it, draw something on, pointing to that. Like you can do so many things, on the whiteboard. It behaves as if it's a part of the whiteboard, as like an object. So you can just play with the image, like moving and writing on top of it, um, as part of your other whiteboard specific tools. And you also have this media player. So this is something, takes all the MP4 and MP3 files from your content library, and you can play it to your students. It also supports playing links from YouTube and Vimeo. So you simply copy the YouTube URL and paste it here. It will play it. And also you can play your recorded videos from your library. So in this example, simply I play this video file. So it plays for all the students. One of the very neat feature with this tool is you have an option here, allow attendees to control video playback. So by default, the attendees cannot see this pause button, play button, or seek button where you can skip the part of the video. So it's controlled by the instructor. So if I'm giving a lecture, I can simply pause the video, and then I can talk about something about the video, or explain what the video is, and then I can continue playing it, which plays in every attendee's computer. If it's a lengthy video, or everybody has a different if everyone are on a different bandwidth, so if the buffering is like little slow, so what you can do is you can give the control back to the attendees, so they can play, pause, seek at their own pace, and then you can continue with the lecture. So when you close this window, it also closes this in everyone's screen. And you have the document tool here. So this is very useful if you want to share your PowerPoint slides, Word documents, and PDF files to your attendees. So when you click on that, it shows you two options. You can either choose the documents from your content library, or you can choose from your computer. Choosing from the library saves the time of uploading the files, because you already uploaded all the files in your content library. And so you can simply click on that, and then you can see the documents that you have. Let me simply select one of this document, a vendor document. So it basically loads the document on your whiteboard screen. Here you have all these document specific tools. This is basically fit to screen, so that fits the document to your computer's screen resolution. And you can go to the next page, and you can go back, and you can go end of the document, or you can also rotate the document. Okay, and you can also zoom in or zoom out a specific document. So another important thing to remember is you can also annotate on top of the document. So I can choose something a different color, and I can write on the whiteboard on top of the document. That will be like seen by all the students, on the whiteboard. Similarly, you can also upload a document from your local computer. So these are the supported formats. So it supports PDF, docx, Excel sheets, PowerPoint, text files, and CSV file. And 20 MB is the maximum upload limit of the documents. I'm going to show you how to delegate controls to attendees in the virtual classroom. The one on the left side is the teacher's screen. The one on the right side is an attendee, a student's screen. So by default, when the student joins a session, there won't be any controls enabled. Basically, the virtual classroom is moderated. The instructor needs to pass all the controls to the attendees, such as the microphone access, the webcam access, teacher tools, whiteboard access, and screen sharing. So by default, when someone joins the room, you may want to give them a microphone access. When you click on that, it basically asks permission on the student's end whether they want to share the microphone. So when the student clicks OK, the microphone will be enabled here. So in this example, I'm going to click no. So you can also see the information specific messages such as the user rejected the voice chat, the user rejected webcam permission, things like that. Similarly, you can also pass webcam access. Teacher tools is all the icons on the top here. If you want to give that access to the student, you can click on that. It will ask permission on the student's end. When student clicks OK, you can see these icons enabled here. Now the student can use the break room, polling feature, images, media player, and document sharing. There is also a raise hand feature here. So basically, when you click on that, it gets instructor's attention by showing this hand icon, and also it produces a noise. So the instructor knows that someone has raised the hand, and then the instructor may ask the student, maybe using voice or maybe by chat, like is there something he can help with. If you want to call out using chat, simply use @ and then choose the name of the student, and then ask them maybe specific question, or send a message. Similarly, you can also pass the whiteboard access. When you click on this, it enables the whiteboard to the student. All the icons will be enabled here. Now the student can start writing. One of the very important feature and a very cool feature, in fact, is how the attendee's name is color coded. So every attendee will have a specific color tied to the name. So you can see the instructor's name Yasin Rahim, and also the student name as is basically the abbreviation of first name and last name, and it's color coded here. So my mouse pointer also color coded with respective of the name, the attendee name here. So when I move the mouse on the other screen, you know that whose mouse it is. It has a name tied to it. Similarly, when I do something on the instructor screen, you can see that the mouse pointer is color coded with my name in it on the student side. So he knows it's the instructor who is doing that. This is very useful if you have like multiple people collaborating on the whiteboard on the same time. So you want to know who is doing what. This is very useful. Similarly, you can also give the students screen sharing access. When you click on that, the student can start screen sharing. For the very first time, if you do not have the screen sharing plugin installed, it will ask you to install the plugin. Right now, the virtual classroom offers the screen sharing plugins for both Chrome and Firefox web browsers. We do not support IE and Safari for screen sharing at this time. For the very first time, you have to click on install plugin, and then simply click add extension in the pop-up. Now it will enable you the screen sharing plugin. So now you'll be able to click on screen sharing and share your screen as a whiteboard tab here. So those are some of the important features to remember. And I'm also going to show you some of the delegated or I could say that it's a granular security controls, in the sense if you do not want to show the video option to students, you can simply turn that off. You can see that it disappears from the student's end. If you do not want to show attendee list, you can click on this eye icon and then cross that out, so it disables that specific feature on the student screen. So basically, you want to give them only the chat access. You don't want them to see your attendee list or the number of videos stacked here. That's a very neat feature to do that. And we already covered all these whiteboard tools here on the left. In the chat, it also supports emojis. We've seen that before. You can also send emojis here, and the same thing is available on the left side. Next to the text tool, you can see a smiley face. That's a emoticons tool. You can click on that, and then when you click on the whiteboard, you can see that it is enabled here. So you can click on that and then choose the select tool and to maximize it. You can see it's a real time. It does the same thing on the student screen. This is very neat features. Very neat feature if you have younger students. You want to give them instant feedback with a smiley face. I mean, they're gonna love it. So you can do that using the emoji tool. And we already touched on this. I'm going to show you once more. There is a share file option here. You can click on that to upload files from your computer, or you can add files from your library. So in this example, let me choose an image I want to share with the students. So the file shared appears under chat. So the students can simply click on the file name to open that file in a new window. It could be a PDF file, Word document,